All right. Welcome back to Soul Spark Tarot. And I'm your host, Mr. Renew. And today, we got 25 days of Christmas. Today is day 10. I'm happy we've made it to this day. Um, this is an important day because it's a number of 10. It helps us understand how many wholes and how many halves that we currently possess. But I want us to pay attention to the fact that we have a paradox, a dichotomy. We have something that has been created because it's been identified as what I have, which is only called a half I don't have. A lot of semantics, but if I want a dollar, the desire to have a dollar comes with the missing 2 quarters. I got half of it. I have 2 out of 4. You have to consider the fact that there's a number 4. There is something that we're using as a reference to help ourselves understand us, and there's something that we're using outside of us. And this is the identification that we've been submitting to in these last 10 days as we've been calling back this energy. And I've listened to enough readers to understand that I feel like I'm ahead of the curve. The reason why I say that is because I've been saying certain things, predictively, and people are starting to come into it. And it's nice to see, but of course I understand the math. So because I feel that way, like I just expressed, but I get the math, I understand that it's my frequency that's attracting certain people who is going to be saying similar things as I. In other words, people who read books are going to find other people who read books at the place that you're going because you like to read books. The bookstore, the library. So guess what? People of common interest gravitate toward the same spaces. Energies of common origin gravitate towards the same destinies. Ooh. Energies of common origin gravitate towards common destinies. I think I said it slightly different, but that's because we're of the same origin. We're not the same original. And what that helps us see is that we are changing and we're different and we're new. Sorry, I'm going to change this music. I think there's going to be too many commercials. I'm going to go back to the OG. They ain't really let us down. I'll just do something like this. But yeah, so we've been looking at, again, identifying old energies that's been coming back to us. But now, since we have them here, we've been looking at recasting them into a new movie, a new film. But then you're realizing that there's a lot of the same kind of energies. So you're realizing that you either need to get rid of some people, find the best people, or create a new show centered around that theme and attract it to them. But that means we need to have an outside reason. We need to have some external reason as to why. Some reason as to why we should have it this way. Some reason why we should create a whole new show predicated upon this interest. So we do research. So we do assessments. So we do surveys. So we look at ratings. So we look at reviews. We do all of these things again, but from a new point of view. So if you have an experience, I don't want to show that. Look. If you have an experience to where it was an oogie boogie to your emotionals, to your multitudes of who you are on the inside, That means that you haven't been able to shift your internal focus. You're allowing the same person to talk for everybody. You're allowing the one person to direct all the movies. Bro, you don't even know what fucking French history is. Why are you trying to give a movie about French history when you don't even want to research, when you don't even want to review, when you don't want to do any of the required actions, and the same actions you have no problem doing if it was something you was interested in, such as music, let's say. That's it. That's it. Everybody always wants to do something. Even if you don't want to do it, both of those things happen the same way in all people. They are all coming from a common origin, which means they all have a common destination. So how do you take these commoners and turn them into a royal? How do you take something that is on a trajectory and deviate its path along some theta? How do you get a new point of view? This is the energy of the 10 today. It's 12:10, and I'm looking at a 12 right now, and I'm looking at a 10 on the clock. That's crazy. So 12:10. This 10 over here is made, oh, it just changed. But the 10 was made up of an 8 and a 2, which means that you're balancing things that are worthy to you. Not necessarily the wealth and the finances and the material. It's the energetic side to it. So that means that you're starting to create new energetic channels inside of yourself as you're newly creating means of perceiving wealth being given and handed to you based upon the growth that you've been balancing through. The growth that you've been balancing through comes from the idea of doing two different things at once, not seeing much growth in either one, and then taking a step back and needing to apply both aspects in one contextual situation, and then you having an epiphany and realizing that it's not good to do this, it's not bad to do this, it's when I need them both, and then you start paying attention to the times that these things occur over and over, and then you look back and say, damn, if I can go back in time and help myself, I would invest in Google, I would invest in Apple, I would invest in this person, I would invest in this job, I would invest in this part of myself. If you can go back in time, you can say those things, and you can do those things. What's stopping you from going into the future about your present moment now? Can you look ahead and then look back? Can you do two actions as you make a step? Take a change, make a choice of your own range to exceed beyond your own trajectories. Can you be plus ultra? Can you go beyond? Can you push the limits? Well, if you can go back in time and you can say, damn, I wish I would have did it like this. The question is, can you identify what it looks like if it was to pop up anew? If that moment grew up, could you recognize what it turned into? Same emotions, different point of view. I'm not a devil anymore. I'm just a knight making moves. I used to be an asshole. But nope, I'm coming through smooth with my mental. I'm just way in a better mental place. I'm way energetically up on a higher mental space. I'm doing both. That's why I'm in this role. I'm living my life, so I got a new flow. But what does that have to do with you? They don't need you and you don't need them apparently. So do we have to be obligated to acknowledge those changes? I believe not. So when these energies get called back from you, in other words, when an experience pops up that is triggering that part of you to act upon, and you don't know how to act upon because you haven't allowed that space to grow, you haven't identified what changes you had, you haven't identified who is here, you haven't gave it a new role and recasted it into a new movie, then you'll be stuck waiting on the next cycle, hoping that you do. So, on this day of 10, what we're doing is we're following what we are and what we do. So, for me, as an example, I've been feeling pretty good. I've been trying to do things differently, and I've been trying to see things differently. Exactly, bringing towers low key, seeing things just slightly differently, And it has been changing my point of view on certain things, but because my point of view has been changing, I've been creating shifts internally to where those things aren't my focus any longer. And so, because I've done this so much, I can recognize my own awareness. I can recognize my awareness. So, for instance, I know it like a baby. It's like, think like a toddler right now. Like, if I'm in a store and it's crowded, I know inherently, because I've practiced this behavior so often, that before I just grab my item and turn around, I know it's busy. I'm not going to just grab and turn. I'm going to grab, pause, and look, right? Or another way to do it is to approach with a trajectory in mind. I'm going to drive the airplane here, then we're going to go here, then we're going to go here, then we're going to go here. I have these stops planned across a sequence. I'm not making it a packaged moment. This is the idea of matter being a particle or matter being a wave. The wave particle is really what it is because it's a duality. The human is the noun, the being is the verb. But the being can be the noun as well, and the human could be enacting humanoid aspects, some characteristical traits which can be applied as a verb across not just people, but animals too. Damn, that dog is standing up like a human. Why is it walking on two legs? What the fuck? And its hands are behind its back? Is it contemplating what? Or why is this cat just sitting on the step? What is it doing? It's in sorrow. Are you sad? Or what? This is a skinwalker. These are skinwalkers. Tower moments to yourself. This is the idea. So as we're bringing tower moments to our own ability to change how we think, how we view, how we perceive certain things, we have to start to appreciate what we're identifying. And we're identifying things across the string, but we also have to identify which string that is being plucked, which allows us to take a step back and then allows us to say, hey, it's not just all about what I'm doing or where I'm going. It's about who I'm doing it with, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, when I'm doing it, how come I'm doing it, in which ways can I do it more, which ways can I do it less, why would I want to do it more? Why would I want to do it less? What would be the benefits of me changing which one comes first? All of these different metacognitive questions we can apply and use for ourselves is going to be shown through these towers. It is pieces. You should say, which piece should I begin with first? You should say, none of it matters. I'm going to get the broom. You have options when something falls down. You gotta take a step back. You have to. You gotta get away from the dust. So because of that, what do you do next? What do you do next? Well, you can freak out or you can plan. So let's see what's our overall energy for the planet. Oh, the overall energy today is anxiety, and so this is already. I got a perfect example. I woke up this morning and I felt like super into me and in myself. I was in my feelings right? Not emotionally, like emoting sadness or anything. No, I just felt more in my body than I felt in a while. So to me, feeling grounded feels like, a water bottle. That's just my point of view. So I feel the sloshiness inside of me, the changeable moods. But it's all cool. We could change. We could refresh new water bottle. Ding. So maybe that can be a thumb roll, thumbnail. High quality H2O. But every single time I try to think about something, every single time I try to like put myself on a mental trajectory, I started getting anxiety, and then I was like, no, whoa, bring it back. And so I did that twice, right? Because I always tell y'all, things be moving in two. So the first time it happened, it was a surprise. It was the origin. The second time it happened, I had a certain amount of space that was different, the grow. And then I had to find the difference, the slope or the change in between. And then guess what? When I found that the second time, I realized, oh, I can tell myself, don't go off on a mental tangent, deep in thought. Just feel it. So then the anxiety started going away, but then it popped up again as the nine of needles would, multiple different things you're balancing, you're juggling, you're struggling with, you're overcoming through. And then I said, oh nah, yeah, don't go there. Just like that. A little voice in me said, don't go there. And then I was like, oh yeah, don't go there. But I'm in my head. My question to you is, why are these different voices popping up? Because I heard something today and somebody was like, we always have the inner critic. Be the inner voice for your child and not the inner critic. But my question to you is, do you know that there is, like, the inner critic is a voice? Like, the inner critic is a voice. So if I am the inner critic, and then you're telling me a voice, then you got to understand you have identified a voice as the critic. So it's not about identifying who the inner critic is. No, it's about identifying what type of voice. You take a step back from critic, you take a step back from voice, and you say, this is a category now. It's not a single thing, it's a category. It's not an individual, it's a group. It's not one fourth grader, it's a classroom of fourth graders. It's not one classroom of fourth graders, it's the whole wing of fourth graders. It's not one wing of fourth graders, it's the total fourth grade population. Do you see how I just continue to regroup and regroup and regroup? This is called in-group psychology, social psychology. A lot of people haven't flirted with enough information. General information is good. This is why people need to explore museums. This is why people need parks. This is why people need historical aspects of our societies. This is why things should be maintained in nature. This is why anything that matters. It's for the continuation. So when we're continuing things, we gotta realize that some pathways continue differently. Some pathways continue on your emotional aspects, which means you must learn how to keep them goddamn kids at the pool when it's cold. Put a baby gate up. You have to regress to a point to where you realize that this thing, this energy, this part of you it's so youthful. It is not at the mental capacity. You have a part of you that's not at the mental capacity to do what it needs to do independently. So put boundaries. Allow a part of you to put a baby gate up, or put a fucking bib on, or put a diaper on. Allow you to nurture that part of you as if it was a baby and watch it grow. There's a show. This has been a lot of yapping. on one card. But there's a show called Shield Hero, and I think you all should watch that. And I think there's another show that you should watch, and it's called damn, I forgot. But it has Ein's Old Goal on there. I'll find out. I'll remember later. But for sure, Shield Hero. And I think a lot of us can relate to the Shield Hero because a lot of people have experienced the other three heroes in the whole storyline. They've experienced it in the past. But it's nice because at the harsh aspects of that show, the nine of needles, the anxieties, the worries, the stress, the lives, the brutal aspects of living, those things that come out harshly in that show, it has a different spin on it, and you start to see how people attach to things, and you start to see how things attach to people, and you start to see how, like, why such a small amount of kindness can go such a long way. That's why it has always been a few people to combat against the masses. This is the social in-grouping aspect, the minority. When people are of a majority, they always see that as the common rule of dominance. But there has been many points in time where there has been a minority group who has the majority rule, who has the majority control. Think of a school. Again, there's one principal or maybe there's two or three principals, a group, one head and two assistants. That is the minority across the entire school. Yes, you're all staff, but you're the principal's staff. So the principal is the minority, but it supersedes it all. But we all operate across communication and democracy, but certain areas you need to do what I'm saying. So it's kind of a dictatorship too. And then other areas is republic. We got common ground. Translations, transferable departments. Then we have rising areas and falling areas. Lots of different things coming up as a school. But the head honcho just sees it as one thing. You are now the head honcho calling back these anxieties, these energies, but you have to realize what staff that you have. So when you have anxiety and thoughts coming into your mind and you aren't in a mood to go on mental tangents, what you need to do is sit in your emotions and just feel them. Be intuitive. I'm water. I don't have a voice. I'm only thinking because I'm conscious. But I'm water, so I do all things that water do. So to bring it back to my story of me checking myself, I went from doing it once, doing it twice. The second time I realized what happened the first time, and I said I was going to give myself a trigger. The third time it happened, it started happening. Again, I wouldn't call it happened, but it happened at a diluted rate, let's say. So it happened at, let's say, half, and then I was able to say, don't go there, right? And then it began on the fourth time. It just began. It started looking at the origins or trajectory, and I knew where you was about to go. I see the kid walking over to the table, about to grab the plate, and the plate of food is going to fall on the kid's bed. I see it happening. I'm running over there. I'm going to save it. And guess what? The way I can save it could be distal. I don't have to run over there and stop the baby's hand from pulling the plate down. I can simply communicate something that will be faster. I can identify what is about to occur is wrong. I can speak. And so for that baby, I might say, hey, no. So I might do that, right? I might do that. But for me, on the thought pattern, I simply just said, just feel, bro. So I was talking to myself in a different way that helped me see that I can just feel it. But in the way that I was feeling it, it helped me see that I recognized what I was doing in order to feel it anyway. So I just felt it. And the intuitive motion came in and it was like, all right, Get the laptop going, and let's get started. So here we are, day 10, ending things because we can recognize that I got two digits in my age now. I'm not parts, I'm a whole thing. But I remember half ago, I remember when half was the world. I remember when five was the top dog, but then those 6 years old, something about the 6 year old just, made me feel not enough. So guess what? The difference between a 5 and a 6 year old is independence. They stepped outside of their trajectory. And it's crazy because this is how development actually happens. But I'm telling you, this is the development of me recognizing a thought today just prior to doing this reading and how I changed my own trajectory of an energetic body going somewhere that I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be wrapped up in my head feeling like I had anxiety. I didn't want to feel like this. I didn't want to be balancing thoughts. So I was just like, yeah, forget about it. I don't want to go there. I'm just going to feel and whatever. I don't want to think about what I'm feeling. Whatever I think about, that's what I'm thinking, but I'm not going to participate. I'm not going to partake in that parlay of thoughts. I'm not going to rearrange the different sequences that I'm seeing happen as the movie. Yeah, bro, I don't really care about the movie, but it ain't bad. Shit, whatever is happening. Really don't have any patterns. This is at the bottom. And this is exactly what we're saying. The Seven of Cups normally is like, illusions, opportunities, options, discernment, fogginess between them. I like to see it as, stepping into a place of new and you just don't know anything. And that's what it is. It's complete ignorance. But how you approach it as a 5 year old kid will help you be what we call precocious. You might be a kid who is learning. You might be a kid who knows a lot and shows it. You might be a kid who comes off as a dummy. One of those three developmental stages shows you that you have these options all within you. So the fourth stage is the you making the choices. This is Ptah. This is Tar. This is the God deity of all creation because it is the creator. It is the differentiation between what has been created and the creation in and of itself as a creator. So it is yourself creating a thought about yourself taking action. Damn, I think I'm going to go to the kitchen and I am going to eat what I want to eat, which is a bowl of cereal, let's say, a bowl of fruit. But notice I kept putting emphasis on I so you can realize that as you continue the story, the subject remained the same, but everything was changing. But it's me who was creating the story of me about to go get up and get, my fruit salad, my yogurt, my bowl of cereal. It's me thinking about it. But it's the future. I'm not doing that. Or are you? That is the fogginess behind the seven. th- those options are the confusions, okay, behind the nine of anxieties, the balancing of thoughts coming in, because these are not bad thoughts. Notice they're just in opposite directions. So everything seems nothing is happening. You're in a zero state, neutral, absolutes. Positive left, positive right, positive two to the left, positive two to the right. Like you're balanced, you're absolutely balanced. So that shows you you're in no land, you're in no space, which is in all space, zero. But what we're saying is then you have an area of new opportunity. You have the fogginess, but you can change that fogginess into something that you can identify. Let's get some identifier tools. What can we use to identify? Because I told you my story, but that's me using soul inspiration. That's my identifier tool. I assign myself, you know, roles. Like I'm doing everything I'm saying I've been doing, and I teach people to do this. I'm trying to teach y'all too because it's a video. So it's really Really, like, y'all really know, y'all want to know why I do this? It's because I'm trying to teach me. Like, that's the most selfish aspect, the most highest ego. I'm trying to teach myself because nobody taught me as a kid, but I did a lot. And I didn't say a lot, but I understood so much, but nobody had the words to talk to me. And then when I talked, nobody had the words to respond to me, so I just stopped talking as much and I just took action. And then I listened to people really, really well, and I did certain things that I didn't want to do because of certain aspects. But then I got a chance to do them because I just listened and I tried it and I got a chance to grow. There's a book called Think and Grow Rich. And one of the things that Rich Dad said was use a job. And I started to understand that I can use my jobs to help me heal parts of myself. And what healing that I need, my trauma, was that I wasn't taught enough. I wasn't ever guided as a kid. And so I had to figure out a way to obtain what I was looking for. I had to scrounge for life. And that life was listening to people, even like when they didn't say anything. I really had to really learn how to communicate with nature, with natural aspects of change. I had to pay attention to the subtleties. And that's because, again, I felt like I was trying to survive and nobody was trying to teach me how. For some reason, I always felt like everyone looked at me as if I should already know how. Like, and so it gave me a lot of this. We went from the 9 to the 10. I asked the question, like, what tools can we use? And it says to go deeper. So we go deeper as I'm telling you this story that I've never told anybody else. And I'm looking at this and I'm realizing that this here, what that means to me, and the reason why I'm using a Jack deck card is because they come up with different meanings that I think people can relate to. I relate to my inner child the most to this deck because this was my favorite movie as a kid growing up. Movies and melodies and songs and the animations and musicals, those things inspired me so much as a kid because it was communicative. I can see all of the communication happening at once. And then I loved the fact that there was a single conductor, a single director, a single person that brought it all together. I love that so much as a kid growing up because I felt like that's what we should all be looking at. I see the world, I see life as like a harmonized symphony. Everything is trying to already sequence together. And it might look like things are going in opposition, but that's what a duet would do. I got the big, booming, deep man voice, and I got the high, shrilly, high-pitched, squeaky feminine voice. Two drastically different sounds, but together they harmonize, and together they create a resonance, and together they make something brand new that we would have never thought these opposites will create life. That is the feelings that I used to carry as a child with life. But now as an adult, as a grown ass man, I had to put the ass on there too because I've been working my ass off to find this growth that I have now owned as my own growth. I have now reached my level. I've reached my peak. I've reached my area that helps me say I can go back and help me. I don't need the teacher. I've learned how to be the teacher of the aspects of self. And now, since I've learned that that's simply being a forever student, a forever worker, a forever learner, a forever grower, a forever carer, a forever lover, I know that is a continuum. That is the key. And a lot of y'all were focused on the end goal, the description. But we must focus on what is allowing us to continue on our describe. What can allow us to string these descriptions together as we individualize these particles of description? As we look at all of these different needles, all the ones that we're balancing in our mind, notice we're not balancing them anymore. We took these worries and we put them into the cushion. We used to be the pincushion for other people's thoughts. We used to be where people can land their blows. We used to be the outlets for others, the punching bags, the kicking bags, whether that's non-physically or physically. And if it's coming out non-physically, understand that it can come out it can come out emotionally, it can come out through words, it can come out through uh, earth or routines or actions. But if it's physically, you still got those four modalities in which it presents itself. There's men who would hit a woman with a closed fist just because. And then there's men who will hit a woman with an open fist. Open hand, I mean. Drastically two different men, but to the person, another pincushion, the pincushion says, well, it's okay. At least he didn't hit me with a closed fist. Yeah, it's okay. I deserve to get hit with that closed fist. That's what the pincushion would say. But you, the balancer, you would say, hold up! Hitting her at all is wrong. Rest on that completely, bro. Don't hit. Let's not even hit. That's a new thought. Why are you sleeping on that thought? This is the fourth sword. Why are you resting on that thought? Oh, it's because you're heartbroken. So, this is what we call continuation. This is the continuum. The continuum of these thoughts is showing you that things grow. And what you should realize with that is that your heartbreak will grow into other things too. And eventually, if you don't address your heartbreak, it'll grow into you being some kind of pincushion to the thoughts of the broken heart. But notice, my thoughts were able to be reorganized, rebalanced, because that's all this nine is. Just because I have the thought doesn't mean it's giving me anxiety. It's a part of me that is receiving the anxiety from the other part of me. In other words, I have an open door. I'm being a pincushion to something that doesn't belong there, in other words. Have a boundary. Close the door. No, I'm sorry. I can't speak to you right now. I'm in the middle of a conversation with somebody else. Get out my office. What? That's, you can respond like that. That's granted. But then some people will say, oh, well, I appreciate that you might need me at the moment. Currently I'm occupied. And so as soon as I'm available, I can work with you, no problem. The only way you can get to that point is if you realize that you have the thoughts, but you can be the thoughts. So I have the thoughts that I'm going to tell the person, hey, I can't see you right now. But because this anxiety comes in two different forms, I can do it the way that I did it initially. I'm just going to react and respond and let who I feel I am just come out, which was, bro, what the hell are you thinking? I'm in here with somebody right now. Why would I see you right now? Wait your turn. There's no problem with me saying that. People shouldn't have a problem with me saying that. But then I can also go to the other side of the coin and I can be like, oh, well, I was really good to see you, and I would love to help you. At this moment, I'm not able to, work with you because I'm working with someone else. So as soon as I'm available, I will work with you. So go ahead and take a seat outside my office, and I'll call you when I'm ready. Okay? All right. Which version are you going to be? Well, I'm going to tell you who I am in both of those situations. When I'm talking softly, that's when I'm working with early education. Preschoolers, kinder, first and second. When I'm working with those kids, that's who I am. When I get to second grade, I start getting into the flirtation with the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth area. And when I get to fifth grade, I start to have the flirtation and to treat them all like eighth graders from them on out. And I don't treat a seventh grader like a seventh grader. I just have more space and openness. Treat the eighth grader like they're a grown person because they need that. But I allow them and I try to encourage them to keep their youthfulness, to not be afraid to be weird, because you like something that nobody else like in the class, but you got homies that you hang out with at lunchtime with who enjoy it, they just in another class. So it doesn't matter that they don't like it over here in this class. Find out what you do like with these people over here and then enjoy what you like over there with them. And then at the end of the day, you'll be able to balance those thoughts and you won't have the anxiety. You won't be heartbroken at the aspects of, oh my God, nobody in here thinks I'm cool, I'm weird, nobody wants to be my partner. No, put that to rest and say, hey, I can identify what the issue is. The issue is that nobody likes this game in here. Put that thought into context, and now you can take that thought out of you and find a pincushion outside of yourself, aka in here in this classroom versus in there in that classroom. And then you can realize that you can separate yourself from that thought, change your internal perspective, and now you have a whole new story. It is a 10 on this day of 10 of 25 days of Christmas. I'm just letting you know that you learned how to put a pin cushion in all those 10 pins, which is allowing you to say, whoop, I'm done with all of that. It's not even me. It's just the context of who we want to see. And look at this. Come up in reverse. Now internally, I do not have a place to hold those thoughts inside of me, even though they're all inside of me. These are thoughts of critics. And I'm going to just categorize them as a social in-group. That's a group of society who criticizes people. And you know what? I'm over there sometimes. Me too. So because I don't feel no kind of way, because I'm going to go to the library and read a scary book when I want to, because I'm going to go to the library and read a funny book when I want to, because I'm going to go to the library and read an autobiography, because I'm going to go to the library and read a biography, I can say the same thing about the movie too. Because I'm going to go to the movie and watch, to the theater and watch a comedy, because I'm going to go to the theater and watch a scary movie, because I'm going to go to the theater and watch a science fiction movie, because I'm going to go to the theater, I can watch. So, because I'm not being confined to the idea of taking action here with variety or taking action there with variety, I'm looking at the actions that I can take, and I don't need to take these pin cushions with me. I can just store them into this cushion, and then I can walk away. Ha ha! You're not a part of me, bro. Yeah, sit your ass over there. Hey, you're not in this class. What do you need? Where's your pass? What are you doing here? And then, sorry, I used to do that in the classroom. So I would make sure the kids understood, like, this is their class. So whenever anybody came in the classroom, we all let them have it. We questioned them. We grilled them. Who are you? What you doing here? Why are you here? Somebody always pressed somebody. And so what does that do? It makes kids come up with a brand new point of view. This is the bottom of the deck. I didn't even know that. It makes the kids need to have a new point of view. When you're walking into Mr. Henson's class, you better be prepared to talk. So there'll be some kids who come in there and be like, if they're an elementary kid and they'll run the fuck out. And then I gotta go chase them and then be like, hey, what did you need? Oh, I'm sorry. I needed to tell blah, 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 blah. But then if it was at the middle school level, and I told them that, there would be some kids who come in there and be like, as soon as they open the door, and boom, open the door. Exactly. You see how I did that? That's how they do. It's like they kick the motherfucking door down or something. And so the kids would come in there and be like, I'm here to tell you that you need to be... Oh man, so like you get such a variety of kids, bro, and that's the understanding of the energies within you. And when I say kids, I'm thinking about all levels of education. And like that's you learn things at different points of view, different points in time. So that's why I keep saying recast. Now you have the pin cushion to take all of those thoughts and you can call it something else because you're more mature. You can just stick with your one needle, and your one needle is to realize that you only got one hand for one needle. You only got one pin cushion for yourself for this one needle, and that is your hand. You don't have a cushion pin for you, but you got them all for everybody else. So don't put your thoughts into me. Put them into these areas that I've laid out for you, these pin cushions. These energies coming back from you of the past, don't allow them to come in and just run the show. You're a great actor. Yes, you're a wonderful actor, but that ain't how this movie about to be ran, man. No, what the fuck you thinking? That is, we ain't got no space for none of that. I'm sorry. We'll save some money in the budget and you can go, and I'll just see it as differences. This student coming in my class, bro, you can be dumb as much as you want to be dumb, but stop making your friends stupid with you. Your homies got lives. Your homies' parents want them to live and survive and thrive. I don't know about yours. I'm assuming that, your parents want the same for you, but, you acting like, that's stupid or something to like want to learn how to like do stuff in the world. So be done by yourself. You can go in the back, you can color, you can draw, play on your phone. I don't care. Just know that the same consequences are there, but I'm not going to make you feel more foolish than this. This is just the reality. Again, and this is how we'll talk to kids in the class. I'm not going to say what you're doing is a bad choice. Human to human, bro, I don't give a fuck if you want to learn. But my job is to try to help you, and your job is to try to learn. And I don't think I'm making that too hard. So, I mean, if you're just choosing not to participate and learn and grow, do that shit by yourself. And that's it. That's how I would handle it. I would say you would have the same consequences. So, guess what? Even though it seems like I'm breaking that heart of that kid, it's funny. This just fell out. The death card just fell out. Just because I'm breaking that kid's heart, I'm causing death to how he was healing himself, how she was mending their heartbreak. I'm causing death to that, and I'm breaking it there, right? By forcing. That was crazy how these cards fell out. Dang it. This is the last one that fell out that way. But I'm showing them how to turn around and look at this part of themselves. I'm asking them to say, you can do all of this shit that you're doing, bro. I have no problem with it. But it's influencing your homies, your friends, the people that you say you care about. Look, this person could easily have been done with all their work right now, but you keep talking to them and they're missing things that they would easily get correct if they would just pay attention. And you just keep on talking to them. You keep distracting them. Keep trying to get them to play games on the phone. Hey, brother, go play by yourself over there and not learn. That's cool. But this person, they want to learn. This person, they want to play games too. But this person probably has obligations at their house that they need to abide by. You don't seem to. Just stop getting your friend in trouble at the crib. If you really care about your friend, you should really let them do what his parents want him to. Let him continue on his trajectory. So check yourself. And every single time they check themselves, you know what happens? They find a deeper part. They get all emotional. And the kids who can't handle their emotions, they don't realize that I can clearly cut mine off. I'll get emotional with them. I'll be there with them. And I'm not your mom. I'm not your mama. Cut off, you're dead. And it never comes back until they come back to me. And they have to make an announcement. Again, the reason why I'm bringing up this, and I think I'm called to intuitively guide you to do this, is because if I was your teacher, I would have really already helped you transform a lot of things. And I started off saying, why do I like doing these videos? It's really because of my old students. The first thing was super selfish to teach myself. The second thing was to make sure that my students that I did teach still got some support, because some of them didn't have it then. Some probably lost it. The idea is whenever they need a new change, they got me. I've made books with them and shit to where some of them know they got me. I've told kids about books and rapped with them, and I've done things to create memories to help them know that they still got me, or I still got them, but I'm not there. So because we continued on it, can they identify the ways that I'm helping them still? Well, they can find my videos. They can still continue to make books. So they can read books. And now they've learned life lessons and they've heard sayings. And they remember the stuff that, the things that I was teaching them. They see it in the books, but they've grown up. So they probably see it a little bit differently. More appraisal value. New thoughts are coming in by addressing the things that you have in you, and it's just going to create a change automatically, and it's just you calling it out, but you creating an environment also that calls out things when it gets in here. So in other words, you go from needing to experience things to being able to be aware, to having a conscious awareness, to having an expanded conscious awareness, to having a sense, to having an extra sense, to you see me going further and further. This is the ionosphere. This is the stratosphere. This is all of the atmospheres put together. The layers. This is this is earthly energy, because earth and air come together. Earth, air, and water are on the planet, which is why God's had to give fire to this planet or spark of life in there. But anyways, the continuation is what we're referring to, and as we're starting to continue on a mental thought, just like I did not want to do initially, I just said just be. So when you don't have the mental layers, you can start to feel the vibrational changes. And so I know when somebody's jumping into the pool from the left side versus on the right side, I can hear it, but I can feel the wave coming from the right side versus the left side. Or I can feel that there's more horse playing over here because there's faster waves changing over there versus people are relaxing over here because I don't really feel much change. We're starting to put perspectives upon the things that are coming back to us, the old memories, the old thoughts, but we cannot entertain them with a thought. We gotta feel different about it. This is a super embarrassing story. I remember one day I was in high school, I just out of high school and college, and I had a roommate and his family and stuff, was always around. And one day I decided to pressure my girlfriend, and it didn't take too much because she wanted to bone too. And so we ended up boning, and everybody walks through the fucking door, and I'm sitting here boning on the bed in the living room. Damn! It's so embarrassing! It was so embarrassing. Why? Because everybody realized it at the same time. Didn't get up, we laying down, didn't move, couldn't put my drawers on, couldn't put nothing on, nothing, couldn't move. So everybody walked in, all 12 of these people, because they were celebrating his birthday, came in, all was like, hey, and then all was like, oh. And then they just all slowly dispersed. And then the star card. Oh man, it slowly dispersed. Put our clothes on, was like, hey, we out of here, and boned the fuck out. Oh my God. That's so fucking embarrassing, bro. That was probably one of the most embarrassing moments I've ever had. So, yeah. Before I do some more of that crazy shit, let's get a final message. What I'm saying is I've changed. That's the whole point of that. I've changed enough to where I can tell that embarrassing story, no problem. Like little things like that. I got a little hot and warm, but that's the gift of me feeling differently. I was not laughing then, hell no. But now I can laugh at it, and then I can feel some way about me laughing at it, and I can feel the laughter, I can feel the embarrassment, I can feel all the differences, I can feel it all, but I'm not changing it or trying to make it be what it's not. And so it's just like, now I know for when I have my kids to be like, motherfuckers. But I mean, I was in college. We was in college, so it's just a matter of, I guess it was a disrespectful thing because it was not my house. But I mean, it was my residence. But yeah, that's super embarrassing. Oh shoot! All right, what's our final message? Oh, we got two. So final message is, so we got to take action on the or the seven of swords. So seven of swords is sneaky. You now know how to take action on the sneaky thoughts that's going to try to cause change in your life. So as these old memories, as these old embarrassments come up, as these as these old experiences represent themselves, go ahead and do what you need to do. And what that is, that's to take a new point of view. So, all right, I'm Mr. New. I'm getting out of here. I appreciate y'all for being here. And this is 12 Days of Christmas.